Oh, good. It kills itself. I like that. Welcome aboard for April 25th, 2024. It is the Psychic News Report. I'm Rob Acampora with Annabelle by my side. We'll bring in the panel in just a second. But today, 45, Taylor Swift, Meghan Markle, and yes, we do have breaking news. As you can see, the new set design. You got to love the green screen and artificial intelligence to come into play when it's really necessary. And by the way, we're not the only ones who have decided to upgrade. As we take a look at our panel from across the globe, you may bring them up now, Anna. There we go. Individually and together, we become the team that is going to bring it to you every week now. No longer every 2 weeks. We bring it to you every week. Everything you wanted to know about the week that was, is, and what will be. And we'll go round table. Thor, introduce yourself. We'll go around and give everybody a little plug. Thor Sandalwood checking in from the left coast.
Hey, everybody. I'm really excited about the Psychic News Report. I'm Thor. I'm a Vedic astrologer. It's basically the astrology from ancient India. That's what I practice. So I'm able to look at the news stories through the lens of looking at various people's astrological charts. And I also look at the astrological charts of even countries, nations, and companies. So this should be a quite an interesting perspective.
Going into part of the United States that I think is more the Midwest, I think is Tarot Destiny, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. I'm in Illinois. Hi, everyone. I'm Tarot Destiny, or TD, as a nickname for short. I am a psychic intuitive tarot reader.
Down to Florida, where it's nice and warm, unlike where we are in New Jersey, Deborah.
Hi, I'm Debbie, and I am a psychic and a tarot reader, and I have to give my my welcome to my teacher who brought all this out, the great Anna.
Thanks, Deb.
And the man from the UK, Mr. Rick Paul. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Rick, a psychic, medium, thought therapist, and as you will find out later on, the one that's the ranter of the group.
And the best dressed of us at all times.
Always. Why do I suddenly feel underdressed as the anchor of this thing? I need to check with wardrobe.
Oh, wait a minute.
And Annabelle.
Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm a psychic, a medium. I'm a tarot reader, Lenormand reader. I'm also an instructor. As Debbie said, she's one of my amazing students who has thrived, and now I've got her doing this publicly. So, and my good friend, Rob Acampora, we've been friends for 30 some odd years. He's an amazing host. He's an amazing radio personality. And I dragged him into this. And I am so grateful that he's on board because he is our psychic sheep herder. So
that's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of putting it. Somehow I got to try to keep form while the chaos is going on, which, by the way, not going to happen. Trust me on that. But we got to dive into a lot of things. So let's get it started. Let's start with.
Welcome new subscribers. We're on the new channel. If you're watching on any of our other channels, please migrate over to the new channel, Psychic News Report. It's on YouTube only right now, but we do want to start building our watch hours. We hit 100 subscribers today since we launched the channel a few days ago. We want to keep that going. We want to get to our minimum of 1,000 subscribers as quickly as possible so that we can build more cool stuff into the channel. We're going to do little features throughout the week. We're going to do once a week as an ensemble team. But we're going to have lots of good stuff. So the more support you guys give us, the better this channel is going to be. We all like to get the news, but some of us like to get it with a little psychic spin. So we want to keep that going.
That's our spin. This is what we do. Breaking news we will get to later on, and that will be the breaking news if you haven't heard in the last hour or two. That has come out. We'll get more into the whole thing with our breaking news a little later on. First, we'll go to our first topic, and it is about 45. As it has come out, the former president is looking haggard as David Pecker, as we speak, is resuming testimony in the hush money case. While that is going on at the same time, the Supreme Court is now hearing arguments on 45's claim of presidential immunity. Panel, the real question now becomes, when it comes to 45, how is this all going to start to affect him, whether it be physically, emotionally, and politically? There's a lot of ramifications that are going on for 45, and it should be interesting to see what you, as the sloppy shuffler that you are, will bring out in the cards to start.
So do we want to bring the cards out, or do we want to talk to Thor first? I think sometimes it's better to get the climate than it is to get the weather. What do you say?
Well, I think if anybody's going to know the climate of what Thor can look at as far as certain aspects of 45, I will pass it to him. And take a look in your world, Thor. What are you seeing in your world when it comes to 45 right now?
Well,
with everything on?
When I look at 45's chart, he's in a period of he's in a timeline called Venus timeline, and the planet's in the 12th house, which is associated with losses and a loss of vitality. So he's been in this period since January of 2022. He's going to December of 2022. He's going to continue to be in this period till August of 2025. So the 12th house is associated with decline, a loss of vitality, a loss of energy. And this can be emotionally, this can be psychically, this can be even materially. I feel like this is going to be an uphill battle for 45. And I feel like the forces that are arrayed against him, I don't know if we're going to see him, whether he's still running by the time October or November comes around. I don't know if we're going to see it because there's so many forces.
Based on what you just said, let's say we'll play it out. 45's elected. You say it's going to affect him into 2025. What kind of effect do you think it would have on a presidency based on his health, based on what you just said?
So hypothetically, if he was able to get elected, I feel like this would he's going to be going through so much that this will impact him just mentally, cognitively. I mean, he's going to be very worn down and tired during this period. So if he gets there, he's definitely not going to be at 100%, I feel.
That raises a very interesting point about how important his vice presidential running mate will be in this election, without a doubt. Thor, appreciate the insight. Let's go to where?
I did pull up a card spread. This is
Good.
Strictly focusing on 45's vitality. Since Thor touched on that, I want to make sure that we kind of stick with that. So speaking of his vitality, it does look like energetically we are getting some negative effect right here and now. So at the moment, I really kind of focused on this spread as the present moment for him, but it does look like we regained some speed. Thor, how does that jive with what you see in his chart? Do you see any kind of rebound eventually, or do you see like a steady decline?
I see more of a decline. When I look at his chart, I feel like there's not really a gaining of momentum that I would like to see. If I was going to see him, rising to the presidency and then really taking charge, I would expect to be seeing energies kind of propelling him in that direction. And I'm not seeing that.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's bring up the card view again. TD, do you want to take a stab at this one?
Sure. I think right now his house is in turmoil. I think the trial is really wearing on him, and all the decisions that have been made so far. It's obvious there are powers that be that don't want him to run, period. And they want him out of the race. So I think that they will be doing their best to accomplish that, and he will be doing his best to counteract that and try and get on the ballot for the presidency.
Deb, let's come to you. What are you seeing?
I just see a lot of exhaustion in the cards. A lot of I have to agree with Thor. From what I'm seeing, I don't think he's going to progress. I think he wants to, but I think physically and emotionally he's going to be drained from all of this, because they're literally throwing the kitchen sink at the guy, or another expression, throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I don't see him progressing. I really don't.
And I knew we'd get the noodle analogy. Let's see if this noodle will stick.
Hey,
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm Italian. I'm Italian. Pasta has to come in everywhere.
Deb, this is why you and I. Come on now. The other paisan in the group.
Hey.
The third paisan in the group.
We have to stick together.
Just because your last name doesn't sound it.
I have to acknowledge something here. Both TD, myself, and Rick got the memo because we're all in purple. So we don't have a fancy schmancy green screen, but we got the memo.
Well, you know what? Bad host on my part if I had known that. Rick, you should have given me a sign, because I would have come in the purple. But I always find it interesting when we come to you on something like this, when it comes to American politics, your observation from where you are sitting and giving an observation that has nothing to do with the cards. What are you feeling?
It's one of those where you go, right, deep breath. What's he going to come out with next? Well, the thing is, throughout all of my development, I'm never going to sit here and say I'm this global ambassador and knowledgeable and things like that. I just go with images that are in my mind. So I listened to what was said by Anna. I listened to what was said by Thor there. And as you were talking, these images started flashing through my mind. And I saw it was like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And I thought, oh, that's good. Then the next image comes in, and that phoenix is now hung upside down from a cooking pot with a lashing round its legs going, well, that's that goose cooked. So my sense is with all of that if he's to progress from this place of tiredness, it'll be a short-lived victory. And what my team were bringing in there was that it will all depend on how successful his team are about spinning it. For me, from what you've discussed about your president at the moment, which I will say that I have zero knowledge of, but I was just reading from the cards last time, that you'd be swapping one for another in that sense, just one that's not quite as far along the line as what your current president is. And I think it will be, rather than it being a mental health issue, I just feel it'll be just total exhaustion. I think it'll be a short-lived victory, that even if he does manage to find his spot, he won't last very long. And that somebody that's got a bit more vitality, a bit more energy, and not such a past history will have to step in. So like everybody else so far, I'm looking at those cards and I'm not seeing progression. I just feel there's too much of gaps that he could fall into. So it'll be like a stop-start recovery process with it all. So I'm not going to fly in the face of opinion at the moment and just say that he's not the answer.
I think what's interesting is something that Rick did say, sort of one or the other, and you're not sure where to go here because of the fact that there's a lot of people in the United States that are sitting there kind of going, we got to choose one of these two? Really? There's that feel. It's that underlying feeling, but it's interesting to get that you went there, Rick, because there is that underlying feeling by a lot of people that are sitting there and saying, cards aside, that, okay, these are our two choices, and I have to pick one. Really?
I think we've been there before too.
Oh no, I think it's just more pronounced. We have. No, there have been, if everybody were to be honest, we've been there before, but maybe not to this degree is the best way of putting it.
Well,
Yeah, again, varying opinions.
US is a little extra.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up this spread, I do see that there is going to be some importance placed upon the vice presidency because of the past sins. And I think we're going to see a kinder, gentler 45. I think he's going to be he's going to be aggressive about certain things, but I think he's going to be less aggressive in that delivery. I think we did get kind of a softening of him, but I think it's going to be super, super important for the successor, for lack of a better word, that he chooses as his vice president running mate.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, he's really looking at the sanctity of the country. He, say what you will about 45 and about his delivery and about some of the things that he's done in the world, but I do think that his focus is in the right place. I think he's focused on the seat of power, not for himself, but more so for the success of the country, which I think is a good sign. So going back to this, we also wanted to look at his emotional and political. If we're looking at physical,
it's funny. We kind of touched on a little bit of the political with everything. Obviously, the importance of the choice of the vice presidency, which plays upon his physical. So I think it is more emotional at this point that we really haven't keyed in on here, because it is a little different. Now we're talking about trying to get inside, and forgive me, trying to get inside the mind of 45. That's that's going to be an interesting place to go. Yeah,
a roller coaster ride.
Exactly. And I have no handrails. I'm not holding on to anything. Oh my God!
Wait, the seatbelt's not working.
Oh, great! I didn't sign up for that.
So it's like a carnival ride, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tilt-a-whirl going 85 miles an hour.
So do we want to part that emotional or political, or do we want to move on to another topic? How do you want to handle this, Rob?
I think real quick, let's go emotional, because I think we did touch on a lot of the ramifications politically. I think the panel did a great job in kind of expressing the importance of the vice presidency, the importance of where we're going down that path if 45 becomes 47.
All right. And once we do this, we'll do like a little short and sweet here. We'll do 4 cards there. Dominant energy, under the surface energy, and I got you.
Okay. I thought I was doing that right. There we go.
And sorry, we're our own producers today, guys. So we're getting better at this, though. So this is just kind of a little short and sweet, because I do like to look at Lenormand when we're talking about emotional stuff. So I'll let everybody kind of touch on this, and then I'll do a little Lenormand, and we'll give you a little lesson. Thor, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I come from an astrology angle, and I was able to look at the chart as we were kind of talking about the emotional state of 45. What I'm getting is there's a lot of Saturnian energy, and Saturn is the planet that's associated with fear and anxiety. So even though we perceive Trump as having this like bravado, almost, obnoxious kind of bravado, there is this sense of just being worn down emotionally, anxious, stressed out. But of course, he's not going to show it on the outside.
It's interesting, because I think for the first time in this whole process, at least what's going on in New York, we're starting to see a little bit of that. Hence the reason why we're kind of going here.
Yeah, he was looking a little disheveled.
Yes.
In the courtroom.
Right. Now, based on that, if you were to take it one step further, you don't think that this is going to have when he gets past this and gets back, let's say, on the campaign trail, you don't see any lingering effects then?
I feel like this is affecting him big time. I feel like this is shaking him. So I feel like even if he gets past this, it's just because it's been one thing after another.
Absolutely. TD.
Yes. I think he's emotionally exhausted and physically exhausted. He's been very quiet compared to the last campaigns that he's had.
That's true.
I don't really think, other than his rallies here and there, but he's been pretty quiet. There haven't been the debates this time around. We're not seeing any of that, and we're not seeing a lot of campaigning either at this point, which I'm shocked at, because we're heading into we're in the middle of spring right now, heading into summer, and the elections are in November. So to not
I
have
think that-
heard anything is really surprising.
I think we may have to do a future reading and say, will there actually be a debate in 2024?
Yeah,
You may
exactly.
bring up as something we may have to look into in the future. Deb, what are you sensing?
I'm back. I got knocked off. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
Not whacked.
okay.
Knocked off. From what I could see, I feel that he really wants the job. He really, really does. But I think exhaustion is just going to set in, and I don't know if the other powers that don't want him in are going to succeed. I mean, he's gonna fight it to the very end. But I just think emotionally and physically, I mean, how old is he? Is he in his 80s? I'm not.
Late 70s.
Yeah, he's in his 70s.
Okay, it's got to take a toll. I mean, it's you're a human being and you're fighting for you're fighting for the not only clear your name, for a job that you really want, and it's got to be physically and emotionally draining.
Rick, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm just sat here listening in, and as I say, this objective viewpoint from sat there. I'm just listening in with my guys on Monkey FM, as I call it, up there. That we're looking at that, and I keep looking at those cards, and I keep looking at the Two of Swords in particular, which is for me is about deadlock, and it's kind of like you will not pass go. So I believe that maybe in the background his advisors and his team there are just going, that there are issues, because there are other people that are starting to notice that there are things around you. There's a real feeling of a sense of pride that even if he knew that he weren't up to par for energetically to go forward, that there's a huge sense of pride that he's turned the corner in a lot of people's eyes, even though I say I'm not a personal fan, but I do sense that he's put a lot of work in, and as you were saying, softening his more abrasive style. And I've got that film, and I can't think of the film's title, but it's, for me, what I was hearing was that his mouth is writing checks that his body can't cash. So I don't know where that film comes in from, but I've got this real sort of militaristic thing in the background where he's got the sergeant major shouting at him that he can't produce the goods. I can't actually see the rest of the cards, so I was just going with the star, which is about healing and kind of lighting up your own pathway there as well. I think that his biggest barrier, we're seeing the King of Swords there, to his stubbornness. Queen of Swords. Well, that for me is straight away that he's in for a battle, because that's my warrior card. So he's going to have to soften his energies a lot more to convince people that he's worthy of everything that's going to be hoisted upon him. The Hermit being upside down, and what I've learned from you recently, Annabelle, that they've all got different interpretations. I'm just looking at that, having no knowledge of reversals in tarot, and seeing that he's not even listening to his own inner guidance system, and he's trapped in his own thoughts there. So he's not really in his own reality there. He's just seeing the end goal without actually having any realistic chance of seeing it out. Sorry to be so harsh on that there, but I think he's living in a dream world there a little bit.
I'm seeing this battle between the heart and the head too, with the Two of Cups and the Two of Swords. We've got a battle between the heart and the head, what he wants to do and what he knows he can accomplish. So, I think we've got an interesting summer ahead of us with all of this whatnot. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to throw down some Lenormand and just do a little bit of that so that you guys can get a sense of some different divination.
And while you're doing that, I want to give Grumpy Sapper a little bit of props, because the movie that may have been in question is, he says, Top Gun.
Oh, Top Gun. Mm-hmm. Grumpy Sapper is one of our mods over on the new channel. So thank you, Grumpy, for you got conscripted. I didn't even ask you. I just kind of put you in on it. So thanks for leading the charge and taking care of us on the back end.
It does set me up to do a line from Top Gun with these cards. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me.
Talk to you, Goose. So with Lenormand, if tarot is pictorial, Lenormand is very verbal. And basically what we do is we make sentences out of the cards, and we do them from start to from past to future. And I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can. There's a snake there, and there's also a foxy. So I think we're going to see the emergence of another young lady who may have an issue with him.
Before you do the reading, I just want to say, from a layman's perspective, it's interesting that I'm seeing like the
playing
diamonds,
cards.
Playing cards, which I never knew.
So the tradition of telling future with cards did start with regular playing cards. So I have a number of decks that are all based on playing cards, and these are as well. There's Joseph Magi also. He's another YouTuber. He has his own system with his own deck of cards that he made, which is really fascinating and tremendous. But for us, this is based on Madame Lenormand.
Okay.
Madame Lenormand was a soothsayer, a cartomancer. She did, to some degree of notoriety, did a reading for one of Napoleon's generals, and had advised that Napoleon was going to become emperor, that his boss was going to become emperor, and the general was going to have some leadership role in there. So she is one of the greats. I do talk about her in my class, my Tarot 101 class. I do a great deal of history in that. So I think it's important to know where you're coming from. So the Lenormand deck is based on traditional playing cards. We go from the past to the future, past to the future, and past to the future. There's a much larger spread called the Grand Tableau, which I do have a board behind me that one of my clients made for me. It's amazing, and you can do someone's whole lifetime with it. So it's very, very cool. Here we have trouble in the past. Now, if we're talking about the past, I think we're talking more so about the end of the last presidency, moving into the future. The end of the last presidency was very troubling. The election brouhaha, we all know what happened there. Moving into it, he was committed with the ring. The cross is always troubles that we're bearing. The ring is a commitment to being the stalwart gentleman, which is right here. We also have the moon. Now, the moon's a little bit different in Lenormand. It's a little bit not as spooky as the tarot moon, but there's still a lot of caution that comes with this because there's variability with emotional. This can be very volatile emotionally. And then we have the garden, which is social. So we were showing a lot of volatility, a lot of changing emotions in the past. Moving into the social structure, we started to present more of that. Now, the snake is a very interesting card in Lenormand. The snake is usually a woman that is going to cause some trouble. So we've got a woman in the present that is going to come to the fore who is creating a little bit of trouble. So let's keep an eye out for this in the next few months. I mean, that, if they did drop an atomic bomb, PR bomb, this may be very interesting.
Thank you for specifying.
When we go down here into the immediate future, we have the birds. Birds are gossip. In some Lenormand decks, we get two sets of birds. We either get blue birds, red birds, or we get owls. When we get owls in the decks that have two sets of cards, the owls are usually more of a productive, intellectual kind of conversation. So if you were interviewing for a job, maybe the panel that's interviewed you, the owls are talking about you. If you're in high school and you've got people gossiping about you, a bunch of mean girls, you may get those red birds. These blue birds, this is just chatter. This is information that's happening. The other cards around it are going to give us some more insight. We have the fox here. Now, the fox is similar to the snake, but the fox has a bit more craftiness and a bit less causticness, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit less disruptive than the fox, but the fox is really working to serve their own ends, and we get a message here. So if we're looking from the past to the future, I am very concerned about this cross to bear, the public, the messenger with the fox and the snake on either side. I have a feeling we're going to hear about some lady is going to come out and have something to say about him. So this is kind of what I'm seeing in general with the Lenormand.
I'm concerned about all the animals in this zoo and that they're getting along with each other. And then somehow I got lost between the Cardinals and the Blue Jays, and they're not even playing each other this And that's a wrap on 45. Let's go to topic number 2. What do we got, Annabelle? We have, boom, Taylor Swift is a PsyOp?
This was the weirdest news that I heard. And
yeah, explain this, because this just seems kind of ridiculous.
So I am not a Swiftie, but what was that? Greg and Pete said it all comes back to Pepe Sylvia. So I'm not a Swiftie myself, but I do think that she is spectacularly beautiful. I think that she is a tremendous performer.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's also exhibited really amazing changeability in her career.
Mm-hmm.
You're the music guy, so
yes.
What do you think of Taylor Swift?
Well, look, she made probably one of the biggest impacts we've seen potentially in the last 20 years, economically, without a doubt. Has she single-handedly kind of taken over pop music? Can't deny that. There are other acts that are doing well, but there's one level that we talk about, and then there's Taylor Swift. And it seems like, forgive me for saying it this way here on the Psychic News Report, but if she were to break wind, it may actually make news. So when it comes to that level of stardom, that level of success, nobody has managed to get there right now in the last few years.
So with the conspiracy theory people, what winds up happening is we get folks that start to say, well, with this level of success, there's got to be some darker stuff in the works here.
Wait a minute. Darker stuff on Taylor Swift?
Darker
really?
stuff.
Come
Darker
on.
stuff. I actually saw someone did a comparison of Taylor Swift to one of the high priestess in the whole Anton LaVey universe. So, and the woman looked a lot like her. I'm just going to say, I'm not saying it was Taylor Swift, but I'm saying she looked a lot like her. So,
we're just trying to get over the fact she's dating Travis Kelce, and now you're throwing this on top of it.
Well, that's part of it.
Whoa, time out. What?
Yeah, so when you make these deals with either political cabals or mystery cabals, you get a lot of reward. You get a lot of bang for your buck when you.
So Travis Kelce's a reward. Interesting.
Well, potentially Travis Kelce is going along for the ride.
But that's been out there for a while. That has been out there for a while. And not to throw gas on the fire here, Travis Kelce has just been announced that he will be a game show host coming up in the next couple of months. The name of the show, Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? Something to keep in mind. I'm not making that up.
So I wonder what he had to do to get that show.
But keep in mind, though, he has dabbled in this world. He actually did a reality series a few years ago about him doing dating. And he was doing that with the E! Channel. So, I mean, it seems like Travis is somebody who has been wanting to have a career outside of football because he knows he's only going to be able to maybe physically handle it for the next few years. So, to go back to your conspiracy theory, now we're going to elaborate more on Taylor, but since I'm going here, you possibly are saying that Travis is dating Taylor, which has been out there more for career than it is about love.
No, what
okay.
I'm saying is that they were purposely put together by the powers that be to promote a message. So, and that's really the and again, we're this is for entertainment purposes only.
So please no wagering.
Psychic speculation. There are some people that think that she has been conscripted by the political seats of power to promote a message to younger people, and they are roping in the NFL people. There are some people that think that Taylor Swift was roped into the NFL to pump the popularity after the whole BLM.
But you also know from
negativity.
but in the music business, there is that influence. It's always going to be there. Think about the Madonna revolution from back in the day. Look at the influence she had on fashion, movies, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that in a sense, if you're saying Taylor Swift is this, then Madonna was that back in the day. And that she was, taken over by whatever gods or meanings necessary.
Well, there is a whole school of thought that thinks that certain ladies have assumed a high position.
I think I need to be high to understand this.
So yes, so and back in the day, there was always one giant celebrity. We've lost that over the last few years, right? Like there are no rock stars anymore. There's a whole bunch of people.
All right, on that level, then you say Taylor Swift does kind of, we'll say quote unquote qualify as that, but I would say more as I won't say rock star, but a pop star. Yes, pop. We'll say it that way. Just makes me feel better.
Like a high priestess.
Check, please.
So, and that's where we're going with this.
All right.
So, just by a show of hands of my panel here, who thinks there's something political going on with her?
All right, Thor, 3 out of 4.
Okay, and who thinks that there's some darker cabal going on?
And who sits here and says they can actually afford a Taylor Swift ticket in the concert? Notice nobody on the panel said that. Right.
So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat, if you think that there's a political thing going on, if she's been enlisted by politics, put a 1 in the chat. If you think she's been enlisted by some darker cabal, put a 2 in the chat. I'll give you a second or two to do that.
Meanwhile, I'll just continue to laugh nervously and go, are you kidding me? As she shuffles the deck. Oh, by the way, you broke. That's a different deck than the last one?
I busted out a different deck.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I got a different deck. I got lots of decks over here.
Oh, I know. You got what, about 100?
Oh,
more than that.
Easily.
Okay, yeah.
Easily. I'm probably going to do an auction soon. I'll probably put them up on eBay, but I'll let everybody know.
I was about to say, don't you have the rock and roll deck? That would have been appropriate for this.
Oh, I do, but yeah.
I'm just now I think of it. Sure.
All the way across the room, but this
Right.
matches her outfit from the tour. One of her outfits.
Oh, so you went that way. See,
So, all right. So we've got a lot of 2s in the chat.
couple splits.
We got a lot of 2s, a lot of splits. So everybody. So let's see. We'll do it this way. Let's. Oh, hi, Car Ride. That's a new name. Let's do this. We'll do 2 piles. We'll do political on the left, and we'll do darker cabal on the right. And I'm going to pull up our card view.
All those in the middle just sit here and just look stupid like myself.
There's our political pile. Here's our darker cabal pile. We need sound effects. We need a soundboard. Political. We got Ace of Swords. We got the 10 of Swords in reverse. And we got Temperance. For darker cabal, we've got 4 of Wands, ladies and gentlemen. Hierophant. If I get the High Priestess card, I'm going to print out 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands. Beyonce's not giving up that spot yet. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Am I realizing you're enjoying this way too much?
So I'm going to go to my student, Deborah. What do you think?
Wow. I would have never thought to, but cards don't lie. Cards don't lie. So there's some underlying activity going on.
On this
Wow.
side, yeah. She found her home. I still like Taylor Swift, though. I'm sorry. So, it looks like she found her home, and this was a position of power. But politically, Deb, you're not seeing anything over here with this. It could be that they're flexing some kind of political message through it, but that they're not locked into the politics with that 10 of Swords in reverse. Your thoughts?
Say that again. I'm sorry, you broke up. It's probably my internet.
So I think the political message is being pushed with the Ace of Swords, but I think they're a little disconnected from it with the Ten of Swords in reverse. I think there's
absolutely.
a much
The Ten of
bigger
Swords
thing that we're doing here.
Yeah, the Ten of Swords stands out because it's like, that's what. But wow, I'm blown away from the cards, and this is very interesting. That's why I love tarot. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. TD, what do you think?
Well, I'm seeing a little bit in the political, but it's definitely a 2. Yeah. Well, when I saw those two together, her and her boyfriend, I thought that's a political business deal. I just, it's got an agenda. They have an agenda. So
I gather neither one of you ladies are buying the relationship as it's being presented then.
No.
So Hilaris, one of our viewers, she's a sub to I think all of us. So Hilaris, I think the ferocity of her fan base, just look at it this way: her tour generated $1 billion, and then the tickets were so expensive. There weren't enough tickets for everybody. There weren't enough dates. She went out and she made a movie, and people flocked to it. It was a boon. So I think they're really trying to tap into that fan base to garner votes. Oh, did I do that? Votes?
Oh,
did you? Okay, you just did air quotes. Yes, you did.
I did do air quotes. So let's see what Rick has to say about this, because I have a feeling Rick is a huge Swiftie fan.
Oh, I doubt that highly. The man who comes from the country of Oasis? I don't think so.
When you have these surreal moments in your life, and you're just going, what the ever-loving is this all about? Well, I had to Google what a PsyOp was. Other search engines are available. Then we've got into this mad conversation that the sort of subliminal messaging thing goes back into the 60s and probably pre-war. If she's trying to bring across a subliminal message, God knows what that is, because I'm not getting that. That's going over 50 years of age. That is seriously going over my head. And then to put a little bit of seriousness to it, when I was drawn to number 2 there, and looking at some of the comments in there as I was reading through as well, that I agree with the comment that spoke about she's a potential Marilyn Monroe, because what my feelings were in regards to that one on the right there is she willingly involved in this? I think I can get the feeling that she's probably generating something as a distraction, but is she willingly involved in it? Is she just a figurehead? Because I'm not being horrible, but she doesn't come across as that intelligent to me that she's going to be a world leader or I don't know. I'm lost for words unusually for me, but to think of her as some sort of Cyclops power energy, I don't know. I just can't get my head around it. If this is what's going to, I think we ought to look at bringing back some famous pop stars that could do a lot better job with the anarchy, but not Taylor Swift. Sorry, not for me. Yeah, I'll even start liking Man United and Liam Gallagher if that's my options.
Well, wait a minute. I draw the line at you rooting for Man U. Sorry, I draw the line at that right there. And if we want subliminal messages, do I need to bring out Ozzy? Come on. That's what rock did. There was always subliminal messages. Thank you, Rick. See, somebody's on my side here. All right, go, Thor. Look into the charts. I mean, tell me that Annabelle is wrong on this somehow.
Well, it's interesting. The whole conspiracy theory. It really started with people were noticing coincidences. Like Taylor Swift is the biggest pop star in America right now. And she just happens to be coincidentally dating a player on the team that won the Super Bowl. So people are kind of putting together, there's a lot of coincidences going on here. And then the conspiracy theorists are also putting in, they're watching these halftime shows and they're seeing little signs and signals that seem a little odd. Now, I'm not saying it means anything, but people are noticing little things, little hand gestures, little things that seem not the mainstream. So when I look at the astrology chart, I'm looking at, okay, is there anything in Taylor Swift's astrology chart that indicate there could be some sort of secretive occult background? And when I look at the chart, yes, actually, yes. So her moon is in the sign of, it's in the 8th house, and the 8th house represents the occult. It represents secretive groups. Now, is this a dark cabal, or is this just a financially motivated group that also has political connections as well? We also got to look at, what do we define as dark? Is it just people that are self-motivated, that have some sort of interest? But moon in the 8th house shows that she's very comfortable with secrets. She's very comfortable with having, being in these kind of environments where you got to keep a confidence or you got to keep a secret. So if I'm just looking at her astrology chart, definitely she's got the chart for it.
Well, if we go by her songwriting, she's written about people. We just don't know which person she's been writing about. So she does kind of keep secrets that way.
She kind of took the Alanis Morissette and ran with it like a lot.
If you were going to compare the two, yeah, there is definitely an element of Alanis in Taylor, without a doubt. And both of them, by the way, if you were to do the comparisons, the impact that both had when you look at Alanis right around the early to mid 90s as opposed to what Taylor Swift done. Now, Taylor's taken it to another level financially, without a doubt, but the impact that both of them had in pop music, not equal. Without a doubt.
And a thing I've read about is that she has, I got to phrase this so correctly. A very enthusiastic fan base. I didn't want to use the word I was thinking of.
That's well said, Deb.
Yeah, they were. They're very, because there was some reporter or somebody kind of didn't have a positive reaction to her concert, and they hounded this poor person. I mean, so they're very enthusiastic. So you have to really watch what you say.
Well, we'll remind everybody again, this is for entertainment purposes only. So please, if anybody's representing the Taylor Swift Foundation, hey, we're reporters and entertainers at the same time. So, laugh with us a little bit, will you?
Yeah, really. We're trying to have fun.
Totally for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, I just thought of a song. Psychics want to have fun. Psychics just want to have fun.
That's all we really want. Anyway.
That's right.
Yes, please. Let's get out of this. Oh, no. We're going to your world. Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard. Thrive or dive. Now, look, Annabelle is obsessed with everything royal.
Not obsessed.
You are.
Not really.
A little.
Well, maybe a little.
Thank you. So set us up on this one because you're the resident expert in this world.
So, I don't know if you've heard about this person. Her name is Meghan Markle. She is married to a guy named Harry. They disrupted the entire royal family and an entire nation.
I've heard rumors about this.
A commonwealth, and then moved to Canada, and then moved to Los Angeles. And they got help from this nice lady named Medea and this other nice lady named Deborah. So, they've kind of tried to run with their level of celebrity, and they've stumbled a few times. And now they are going, she is sending jam out to all of her friends. Allegedly, there are 50 jars of this. We don't know who has gotten the jam so far. The last one was Chrissy Teigen got a jar of jam.
Okay.
And it only took her 8 minutes to make a piece of toast to put it together. You can see that on her Instagram. I don't follow her on Instagram, but it took her 8 minutes to make a piece of toast.
And it took her 7 minutes to digest the recipe. Yeah, I had to. I'm sorry.
So, they are saying, I believe Mindy Kaling also got a jar of this jam. It's allegedly strawberry jam. It's allegedly handcrafted by Megan in her kitchen.
Is it any good?
Well, they're saying it is. Nacho Figuera, he looked like he was grimacing with his jam that he was eating.
Yeah, but grimacing, good or great, that could go either way,
No,
good or bad.
It didn't look good.
See?
It didn't look good. But he's a poet, not an actor. So, who knows? It might be a little bit, we might be taking liberties. But anyway, so these jars of jam have gone out, and the beef that everyone has with this is
there's beef in the jam. What?
Yeah, there's another YouTuber, Paula M. She does some import export work, and she said that the codes that are necessary on the two companies that have been set up, American Riviera Orchard and Mama Knows Best, those two companies do not have the codes that are appropriate for import export. In order to make a jar of jam, you need about a pound of fruit. So to make
more strawberries really hard.
Yeah, to make 50 jars, she needs about 50 pounds of fruit. California soil is not really appropriate for strawberry production.
Wine, yes, but
wine, yes, but strawberries, no. Strawberries, you need a very rich soil. You need some interesting stuff. Gregopedia with his commentary in here. Thank you, Greg. So American Riviera Orchard, it does have its own Instagram site. There's only 9 posts at last check, and they create the logo, the 9 posts. People are thinking that she is going to be selling this jam, and there's varying numbers for how much this jam is going to cost, as low as $30 a bottle or jar, and as high as $250 a jar.
Wow.
Now, I am of the opinion that I don't think she's going to be selling a dang thing.
That kind of money, I better get the buzz of a lifetime off of that jam.
Well, it is California. So I'm of the opinion that I don't think she's going to be selling anything. I think this is just a promo for her cooking show on Netflix, which is purported to be in production now. So.
But does she have any cooking skills? Do we know for sure?
Well, once upon a time, before she met a prince, she had a website. It was kind of like a blog site called The Tig. Okay. It was the name was taken from Tignanello, which is a delicious wine. Rob and I both like wine.
Yes, true.
So she did have kind of a influencer, fashion, friendship, food kind of thing. So I have always said since this departure from that it really felt like going back to the Tig was a great move for her. Industry wise, like okay. I really felt like she was not going to go back to be an actress. She wasn't a great actress to begin with. I'm sorry, she wasn't. She was mediocre. She's attractive. She had all the right work done. She had the right hair. I did say that she had work done. I mean, come on, like if I could afford it, I'd have work done. In the words of Patsy Stone, just grab my hair, shake it, and stop it. Chop the excess off. So, I think this is a good return to her roots. I think it's a good move. I think the timing is terrifically bad. I think, she's already kind of. Right.
And will you be accepted as that? And I'm going to use your air quotes as a celebrity chef, which has become very trendy the last 5 years.
Well, she actually dated a celebrity chef, a Canadian celebrity chef, Corey Vitiello. Okay. So, like I said, I know nothing about this subject. Like, I am not an expert.
Oh, no, not at all. Oh, my God, you knew nothing.
I know nothing.
Really?
And there was some beef between the two of them. There was some friction because apparently at a dinner party, she took credit for a recipe that he made. He developed
copyright infringement.
Well, it was in front of their friends, so
even worse.
Yeah, it's even worse. Yeah. So, I'm curious whether or not this is a legit. Oh my God! Look at Rick. We're killing Rick.
I've just read.
We're killing it. We're killing him
in the chat. Just I don't know whether you want to highlight it, but it's just.
I had work done too. It touches me now.
This is
done me.
a wrench. This is why Grumpy got a wrench. Guys, Grumpy is hilarious.
Grumpy, you've got to behave yourself.
We love him. So,
Have you noticed that TMI does not exist on this program?
well,
There's
the
a reason for
FCC
that.
isn't watching us yet.
That's why they call it a podcast. Remember that.
So, I'm curious if this jam thing, if it really is going to be a mercantile kind of situation.
No pun intended. Markle.
Markle tile? How do we say that? Markle tile?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle tile.
There you go.
So, I'm curious if it's going to be an endeavor or if this is just an advertisement for the TV show. I'm really in that camp. I really feel like this is just to generate some.
But what about a third option? Is it a total cash grab?
Is it a total cash grab?
Well, think about it. They're hurting for money, aren't they?
Well, we don't
They
know.
need money.
Maybe.
Just a thought.
Maybe,
Random
maybe
thought,
not.
guys.
So there is there has been no health department examination inspection of her kitchens at her home, and she's claiming that she made it in her home by hand. So
Anybody know that they inspected her hands? Just saying.
somebody did.
Yeah, none of us. We don't know where her hands have been.
I
went there.
spots.
Mm.
But
You went there. Okay.
anyway, so where do we want to start with this? Do we want to start with Thor and just kind of see what her
Now, Thor needs to get us out of this running joke is what we
Yeah.
need here.
I was just looking at a chart right now, and I find it interesting. She's in a Venus period. She started that back in June 22. She's going to be in this period till February 2025, so a little bit under a year. It's in the second house, which represents culinary, and Venus actually represents sweet things, and it rules the 11th house in her chart. I could definitely see this being both. This could be she could be making money on this jam, but it also could be some sort of advertisement for the special she's going to do on Netflix. But I definitely see something culinary, and I actually do see her making some money on this. I know that I get a lot of subscribers that maybe don't wish the best, but I actually see her making some money on this, maybe just for the fact that people just want to buy something, whether it's jam that comes from somebody that's a celebrity. So she might actually make a nice money from this. So that's what I'm seeing.
Thor, you make a great point, because we've seen a lot of these celebrity chefs put like products, not only just food, but other products with their name on it, and people will go and buy them. Why? Because of the name. So there is definitely something to be said about that, aside from the charts. Cards are coming up. Anna, let's focus. What do we got?
So this is just to see how successful this jammy situation is going to be. And I think I'm going to agree with Thor a little bit. I think this is a work in progress. So I'm going to modify my psychic intuition on this. I think it is the advertisement for the TV show, which if the TV show is successful, it will turn into a product line. That's what I'm saying. But that's where the buck stops for me here. I don't think it becomes the wildfire of finance that she would like to have come in. I do see a little bit of money here, Thor. I'm going to agree with you on your chart. There's this little bit of money that comes in. Now, does that correct the financial course that they're on now? I don't think so. I think it's just a little bit to get them where they need to go. I think there's still a lot of mystery behind the scenes. And I think that is generated by the PR and by her agents and by her handlers. I think they're really trying to keep this mystery going, to very, very enthusiastic rushing into this, trying to get it out there. But hasn't done the work necessary, but is screaming it from the rooftop. So I'm going to pass it over to who would we like to go to?
Well, let's head down to TD and see what she sees in the cards.
TD, what do you think?
I'm just shocked we're talking about Meghan Markle and making food. It just doesn't compute in my brain. I think that she goes rushing in. Yes, advertising. Look, I'm going to do this. It's going to be great. Blah blah blah. She hasn't done any of the work necessary to realize her dream. She is going to make a little money, but with the 9 of Cups reversed, she's not really going to see the results that she'd like to see. With the moon, there's a lot of things that we're not seeing or that are hidden. So, and is the world in reverse?
The world is in reverse, correct?
Yeah. So, to me, that's the end. Then, that's the end of the. So I guess what I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying is yes, I think it's going to be more advertising for her show than actually a product line. But it looks like they're going to do a little bit of good in there anyway. With the 2 of Pentacles, they're going to get a little money.
Well, in one level, the advertising's working because you got people like us already talking about it, and the show hasn't even started yet, correct?
That's
It's
true.
not debuted yet?
Correct. No, not at all. They're still in production.
Oh, wow. So that right there. So whatever PR machine is being done, they're getting the word out there, and they're getting talking heads like us already talking about it. Rick, as we come to you, I got one major question. Would you buy the jam?
Absolutely not.
Hey!
Not when we've got a budget supermarket around us that is probably about £1 a jar. That's about around my budget. 200. Again, this is just nuts. I'm looking at I'm looking at the card selection there, and my feeling with it, as well as my limited tarot knowledge, is that we're talking about somebody who is just attention seeking. I call it over here fame whoring. She's just looking for any sort of opportunity to attract attention to whatever project, because she just wants to be in the limelight in whatever way. Is it a serious business proposal? I remain highly doubtful and skeptical of that. I think that she's probably just putting that out there to, as you were saying, draw attention to the program. The byproduct of that could well be that she'll earn some money, but I personally don't think it's that important to her. I think it's just the attention and having a name on other people's lips so that she doesn't go out of fashion or doesn't become irrelevant. Because for me, she still needs to do a lot of work on her own humility, let alone being putting herself out there as a star. Because for me, she's not a star of anything other than controversy. That's all I ever pick up on. I am not a fan or a skeptic of the Royals. I sit sort of firmly in the middle, but I look at her, and for me personally, she's caused more aggravation than she solved any problem. So it's just another thing that sets her up there for people to have pop shots at or get rallied round. And I agree with you completely, Rob, there, that she's got talking heads talking about her. So on that one, she wins. But is it going to solve her problems longer term? No. With that world being in reverse, it'll just come to a damp squib, I feel, but it's not the end of the world for her because she'll live again.
Oh, I love that he said, I love damp squib. That is one of my favorite colloquialisms. So I also do think that some of her endeavors have been engineered to fail, because if she proves that the stank of royalty on her has interfered with her entertainment income, she may be able to squeeze a little bit more in the settlement when that time comes, so that she can be supported better in the fashion that she has grown accustomed to. I think that has been one of the biggest reasons for her push for security. She has been pumping that she's needed security since day one. Even when they were dating, it was a pump for security. So I'm wondering how much that is engineered for the end game, which is our big payout, which is our settlement, our alimony, our set up in California. I'm going there.
You're going there. Okay.
Yeah. Some people engineer their lives that way. So
I guess the question with you is, what's the over under on the divorce then? Because you already got her divorced.
So I don't think that the divorce is happening just yet.
Okay.
I think
No.
that the marriage has been rough, but I don't think that the divorce is happening just yet.
Mhm.
I think with Harry declaring that the United States is his place of residence
Yes.
is very curious. There are some thoughts that they're doing that because of the potential for 46 to not get reelected.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And there's also some thoughts about that the counselor of state business, and it's kind of flying in the face of God. So or the king for that
Right.
matter. So I think that that's very curious, but I don't think that I don't think he's quite ready to separate yet. But people are saying he's homesick. This whole week I did a lot of videos on the royal family. I believe Thor has a bunch of videos on the royal family as well, examining some of the Vedic astrological aspects of it. But we're really in a wait and see. What I do medium wise and tarot wise is I'm really looking at the energies and the potential that has some free will involved.
Mhm.
What Thor is looking at is the conditions
Right.
in which they can execute the free will. So I get a little bit more of a boots on the ground kind of approach.
Right.
And an aspect I can kind of tap into how people are thinking and how they should behave in some situations, rather than what is destined for them to happen. So I always tell people, fated tentpole events are very few in our lives. We do have some that are very few, that are there, that are inflexible, people that we have to have a lifetime with, experiences and lessons that we have to learn. But we have a lot of free will in our lives. So, you can craft your own destiny. You don't have to say, oh, I'm a sad sack and, the fates are not with me. You do have some flexibility with that. So,
Like Rush once said, I will choose free will.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Rush Limbaugh.
No, the band Rush. You really think I'm going to quote that?
I thought it was Rush Limbaugh too.
Oh, you're both out of the will. Please. Thor. Really?
You just popped in there.
You're talking about the band Rush, right?
There was a little band from Canada. He did pretty well in their careers.
He's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Lost in translation there.
We need to get out of this now because we do need to get into breaking news.
Oh, so we're going to skip over to breaking news.
Yes.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this, people.
There it is.
Yeah.
Now, I unfortunately could do zero research on this because Deb, our awesome tarot and psychic down in Florida, sent me a text message about 30 minutes before the show and said, holy blank.
Deb, you get all the credit on this because the reports have been rolling in ever since that New York Appeals Court overturns Harvey Weinstein rape conviction. The court ruled that the judge in the New York County trial prejudiced Weinstein with improper rulings, including allowing women to testify about allegations that were not part of the case. And I now have a handful of cards.
Sloppy shuffle. Deb, do you want to tell us what you found in your research?
Yes.
Thank you, dear.
I just I was just kind of waiting to just checking the phone before I connected with you guys, and that's exactly what I said, and I sent it to you because I thought, oh my gosh, here we are, it's breaking news, and it was I don't know what to say other than I guess his attorneys are earning their fee.
And I got to give props to Anna Perkins, who makes a point, overturned on a technicality, bit like OJ first time around. Yeah, there is a technicality that is going on with this, but still an overturn is still an overturn, no matter how you slice it.
I don't think it was a technicality. This seems, from what I read, it's some pretty big deal, taking evidence, allowing evidence in that wasn't
supposed to be there in the first place, in other words, Deb.
Right, yeah. So I don't know, either somebody goofed big time, because this is a big deal. He was it was that whole movement, and so I didn't expect this. This came out of nowhere. My baby Yoda. Thanks,
Prima.
wifey.
Good question. But he will not be let out, or will he?
We'll do that in a second.
Yes.
I just pulled out some cards just to see what the over under situation is. But before we go to that, I want to get Rick's opinion. Rick, what is Spirit telling you about this? What's the vibe you're getting? Is this like, are we going to see him in a good spot? Are we going to see him? Is this just going to be more drama in the courtroom and then he stays put? Like, what are you getting from Spirit?
We had the discussion before we came on camera, and we had slightly different opinions. I understand where we were talking about sort of the people that have brought these charges to bear have got relevance, but have all of them? There's been a few that have jumped on the bandwagon. But my personal opinion is there isn't smoke without fire. So my gut feeling and sort of tuning into my guides is that this is a big smoke screen. Money talks as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sat here polishing up my foil helmet here because the conspiracy theorist in me is alive and well and feeling really strongly about this, that it's being generated for some other reason that the mere mortals on this planet can't hope to understand. And I consider myself one of those that I believe that he's bang where he's meant to be. I'm going on my background here as a prison officer, that often criminals and people like that often get away with more than what they're actually charged for. But in the end, there's a leveling out. So some that they might not have been guilty of their sort of guilt by association, and everybody sort of jumps in. But the majority of what's going on behind the scenes, they're bang at it. So I do not get a good feeling about the man, and I've got zero knowledge of him. I'm just going purely on instinct and my cynical background as an ex-prison officer. That he won't get out. I don't believe.
Big factor with him when you go into him energetically, just very icky. So
yeah.
It's
what are you getting
factor
from the cards? Just from the overview cards that I pulled.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, TD.
Sorry. I think I think he is he's at his final home. Let's put it that way, in this lifetime anyway. I'm just looking at the Ten of Swords in reverse. The Four of Swords is resting, and then the Eight of Swords. You're bound in a situation that you can't get out of, or so. Yeah, he's done. I think he's going to remain in prison. I don't think there will be a new trial. I think he's just going to remain where he's at.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to stay where he is. I do think that they're going to be doing something in the courtroom. With this Queen of Pentacles, we this is sometimes that Lady of Justice here, because she is so inflexible. She is right and wrong. She's very firm and seated in that. So sometimes we do see courtroom kind of individuals there. So with that, should we bring Thor up?
Yeah.
Thor. I hate to make you look at this guy's chart, but
yeah, so I'm looking at his chart, and he's in a period of which it represents prisons, by the way. He's in a period where Saturn's in the 12th house, and he's in there for a very long time, by the way. We're talking about the next decade or so. Now I feel, and I don't know exactly how the court system works on this, but I think that they're going to have to probably, if they're overturning it, there probably is going to be a new trial. But it doesn't mean they're going to let him out on bond, because he actually might be a flight risk. So because, now he's been in prison for a few years and he's got a lot of resources, so he could travel internationally if he wanted to. So they might not let him out based on that alone, that he's a flight risk. So essentially, he might stay in jail. But I think they're going to find something else because, when the prosecutors are looking for things, they kind of have a general feel of what he's being accused of. And so they're going to probably try to find the prosecution side is going to probably try to find some other things that they can pin on him as well from the past.
And his defense side is going to try to spin as much as they can humanly possible, saying, well, if it happened here, it happened in other places, to try to get, like you said, try to get him out on bond. But again, the one thing you don't want to do is make sure that he stays where he is for that exact reason. Flight risk big time, without a doubt.
Well, I think we saw that with the Puffy situation. I
Very good
don't
point.
even know if
No,
we
very good
know
point.
where Puffy is at this point.
I
But they would not have brought those charges. They would not have kicked in that door on the two houses if they didn't have enough information. Typically, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make a brouhaha if it's going to be a damp squid. Squib, not squid. Squid should be damp. Damp squib. So, I think that there's probably something to this. I don't know if we're going to wind up with more charges or less time or anything like this. We absolutely see him not getting out of this trouble with that. So I just want to say, Penny, if you want to get your Vedic chart done by Thor, I did put it in the chat before. It's www.thorsandalwood.com. He's my Vedic astrologer. He gets the highest props from me. I've had a few of my girlfriends get charts from him as well. So absolutely go do it. You get your chart done once, and then you just keep checking in with him every now and then when different things come up. So it's very, very, very cool. So absolutely, I would say that he's awesome at it, and he's a delightful person, very professional, very awesome. So so where do we go from here?
I think we've covered just about anybody with one last word on this. Who wants the last word on it? Notice everybody's volunteering so quickly.
No.
That tells me I think we've. Go ahead, Deb.
I just wanted to say one thing, but not on this.
No, go right ahead, please.
On Meghan Markle. First of all, I think we need to get merch. I think we need to all cook up something. All right. I'm in the state that has a lot of, grows a lot of stuff. So, all right. So we've got that. We can make jam. We can make something. The other thing is that on her cooking ability, she grilled romaine lettuce. Enough
She
said
did.
right
She
there.
grilled lettuce. She grilled lettuce. I don't get it.
Lettuce. I watched the clip. She was back in the day on the Today Show, and she grilled lettuce. Enough said. So
she also said that making toast was a bit daunting. She grilled lettuce, but making
out of
toast is daunting. That's a quote.
Yeah, out of touch is really. So I think we all need to get together, and we can merge and have our own production line of jams and jellies. The Psychic News Report jellies. I think we would outsell her in a heartbeat.
We could do that. It could be cosmic jelly.
This is the perfect way to go out on this first episode. And, unfortunately, I'm going to go Rodney Dangerfield on this because it just reminds me of, I'll tell you, my wife, only woman I know that has bones in toast.
So
there's no bones in ice cream. To quote the Three Stooges, there's no bones in ice cream.
Yeah.
Psychic jams.
Psychic
I love
jams.
this. So I want to thank everybody that watched. Please subscribe to the channel. It's really important. We're just over 100 subs in just a few days. We definitely want to make this channel grow. We want to have lots of super content for you. It's a really exciting project. I'm so grateful and glad that I met all of the people on this team. And we did it through YouTube with the exception of me and Rob. I just think that everybody is such a tremendous professional on this program. And I think we're going to make great magical things happen in terms of news, in terms of psychic news, and presenting a different view of public events. So I think this is great. Please be sure that you are subscribed, and
we will see you next Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. That would be in the future.
thanks everybody for watching. We'll
everybody.
see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.